You're listening to DraftKings Network.
There's a lot that could impress you about the all-new Honda Prologue EV. True, it's got class-leading passenger space and clean, thoughtful design and intuitive technology. But what really sets the Prologue apart from the competition is that it's more than an EV. It's a Honda. Honda, the power of dreams. Visit honda.com/prologue to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use, but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
This is the Dan Levator Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Congratulations, Stugotz. You've arrived at 52 years old. I had to go to Africa and to Safari to get rejuvenated. You with the birthday gift of Mad Dog, giving you the perspective of you hobbled through a hotel. What city was it in that you find? Rochester?
I had to drive back up to Rochester after doing the 4 days in New York.
Somebody saw you limping through and called you Papa.
Papa?
Like you were a grandfather.
In fairness to her, she was asking, are you Papa? Okay. It was like that guy.
Yeah.
Papa?
I'm still feeling that one Mike and Mike show that we did at ESPN, that it's not a sane way to make a living, to do more, to get ravaged by the things in morning radio. I wanted to circle back around here, Stugotz, on the news of the day or of the weekend locally, because the place that Tua was slotted among the salaries average per year, I really do want to talk about this part with you guys.
Okay.
Because you can tell me it's about the salary cap, but you don't actually know what the difference is between Jalen Hurts making $51 million a year, Lamar Jackson making $52, Herbert making $52.5, Goff making $53, and now Tua is at $53.1. You got Jordan Love at $55, Trevor Lawrence inexplicably at $55, and Joe Burrow at $55 a year. Between all of those, that's a 16-17 playoff record. That's 3 Super Bowl appearances, no Super Bowl victories. Why do we know and care about these dollar amounts if you guys aren't actually capologists who could slot something here and there and tell me what it gets them in terms of paying Bradley Chubb 2 years from now?
But this dollar amount combined with Tyreek Hill's dollar amount, Jalen Waddle's dollar amount, that's a lot of guaranteed money wrapped up in 3 guys.
Miami has in 3 guys the only 3 guys in the league on offense who are making more than $70 million guaranteed.
I don't think people give a shit about the exact dollar amount. They care about where are they ranked. What quarterbacks make less, what quarterbacks make more. And that just happens to be where the number's at.
Yeah, that's an even easier way to understand.
I want to know who's making more than Tua and if that fits the hierarchy of quarterbacks.
You would say, what would you say? Would you say Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback or an average quarterback? Like, you can parse that. But remember all the hullabaloo surrounding his contract? Because of everyone being slotted up, Daniel Jones is now paid as an average quarterback.
Right. Trevor Lawrence didn't change the market. Tua had to settle for something less, and as soon as he did, Jordan Love got in with more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good agenting because they made it easy for him right there. It's also the guaranteed money, and that's a hell of a lot sexy to talk about. The guaranteed money is really what matters most.
Mike, you say it's good agenting. The Dolphins, by doing what they did the way they did it, got Tua a little bit cheaper than Trevor Lawrence. I continue to ask you guys, though, why do you care about these things?
Because it affects your ability to pay the weapons around it. And you've seen, like, the Chiefs weren't above it. The Chiefs had to move on from Tyreek Hill. And at a certain point, the Dolphins will probably have to do the exact same thing to make room for an escalating contract.
It does seem like some of these teams, Dan, whether it's the Chiefs, even the Bills with Stephon Diggs in the offseason, they're choosing, hey, we're going to spend the money on the quarterback. The wide receivers are kind of interchangeable. That's not true. No, but they found one last year in Rice.
But the most expensive, the value that is now being spent the most on is wide receiver. Like, there's been a sea change in the sport.
I don't understand the disconnect here, because it stands to reason. You pay your quarterback more, there's less money to go around, which just ratchets up the pressure for this season, because you have all those guys on your roster now. So you're like, this is probably maybe the last year or the second to last year where I have those three together. I have to win a Super Bowl now in this window, or Tua has to be a guy at that position that can transcend the loss of Tyreek Hill the way that Patrick Mahomes did.
The other thing that factors into why Dolphin fans are discussing this, and people in the NFL circles are just discussing this, Dan, is they didn't technically have to pay Tua. I mean, do you think Tua was really going to sit out this season? He was going to make $23 million. They could have waited till next offseason, you know?
I tell you what Tua has to do. Tua has to be a little more graceful, though, with your blessings. You can't get in front of a broke-ass crowd talking about show me the damn money.
Let's play that sound, because I was really surprised by this. It's weird. The whole thing's weird, man.
A warm reception to that, so it wasn't.
He's likable, but he also said, "I'm the highest paid employee in the office." It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I would say that one of the things that I've noticed with Tua, you remember him coming out of college, Dan. You spoke to him kind of fresh out of college. He has grown into a personality.
He's gotten real confidence from this coaching staff, and I would say that he's gotten an amount of success that makes it, man, he was worried about retiring because of his brain.
Yes.
Like, to get to this, it's not to get to a Super Bowl. It's not.
Yeah. Well,
it's not to get to a Super Bowl.
When we spoke to Mike McDaniel at camp, he told us that he saw Tua at a charity event, and he saw a completely different guy than he'd seen in the public eye before, and he realized the failings, even though he didn't want to actually say Brian Flores, but we knew that Brian Flores did not, by pulling Tua in crucial moments, did not have faith in that man, and it really neutered that personality. He didn't feel like he can be himself. So Mike McDaniel told us specifically, I saw a relaxed Tua. I saw a guy that was a leader. I saw a person that people gravitated to, and we hadn't really seen that. How do I get that? And the interpersonal bridge crossing that Mike McDaniel did certainly unlocked something with Tua, because this is the best Tua we've seen.
He led the NFL in yardage last year. So, I mean, listen, people can complain all they want. When you lead the NFL in passing yardage, this is the kind of contract you're ultimately and eventually going to get. Mike McDaniel really impressed me, just from the standpoint of leadership. He seems like a really fundamentally good person and a great leader and a great football coach. To go to bat for a guy, Dan, that he told us before anyone believed in him, I believe in that guy. He's the quarterback for my system. And he just showed you, because he went to bat to get him and he didn't have to. He just showed you, hey, that's my guy. I'm sticking with him.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's syrupy. And also $100,000 more per year than Jared Goff immediately.
If you go outside at all, you know that the heat of summer is here in South Florida. It is crazy hot. And your favorite summer treat, like a nice lemonade. Back in the day, those little ice pops that you would cut the top with a scissor and drink them. Oh, I love those. That summer treat would give you your extraordinary hydration. But right now, Liquid IV is there with refreshing summer flavors like Popsicle Firecracker. Those were amazing back in the day. Rainbow Sherbet that hit the spot. Cool off your summer with reimagined flavors, or make your own Liquid IV popsicles. That's actually a really good idea. Why haven't I not thought of that yet? Again, just one stick with 16 ounces of water hydrates better than with water alone. It's powered by Liquid IV Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Lemon lime is the #1 flavor in the Cloutier household. Indulge in hydration this summer with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code DAN at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code DAN, D-A-N, at liquidiv.com.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team, faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for new jobs might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other job-leading sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/PREP to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Don Le Batard.
Why are you so bad at this?
Stugotz.
I can't answer that question. It's a good one, though. I've been thinking about it a lot.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Of all the quarterbacks that I mentioned there, Stugotz, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Tua, Burrow, Lawrence, Love. Those are all $50 million a year quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Burrow is the one traditional quarterback that all of us would say at $55 million, put him anywhere, even though his skill guys are really good too.
Yeah.
Put him anywhere, and we think he'll be a great quarterback. Jordan Love last year, with limited offensive weapons but a very good offensive line, looked to be in that category of quarterback over the last games when he went to Dallas and ransacked a Dak Prescott that gets accused of some of the same system stuff that Tua gets accused of, that Goff gets accused of, that diminishes Hurts as well. I think we all agree that Herbert, because he had great skill guys too, that Herbert looks the part of whatever it is that Burrow is offering you, and then Lamar Jackson is a weird amalgamation of system and changes at the position. The Tua stat that I find most interesting on do you put him in this $50 million category is that he's third in passing when he gets rid of everything before 2.5 seconds. And he's 16th after that. So it's not just that you have to be perfect to wide receiver and your skill players need to be paid more than anybody else to keep it just so. And it's not just that your offensive line has to hold up, that you've gamed the system a little bit because your system allows him to get rid of it so quickly that he doesn't get injured and they're proficient quickly. But it better be perfect for him. Everything's got to be perfect for him.
Including the weather. I mean, throw that in there as well. It's crazy.
And the first-round playoff matchup.
He's a weird quarterback. I'm not saying he's not deserving of the money. He's deserving of the money. He got the money. But if you put two out in the free market where any team could have signed them this year, do you think a single team would have offered him $55 million?
Yes, I think a single team would have, but not that many. I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
Single team offered Kirk Cousins that, and there was actually like a buyer's market for him.
Right. You need.
They got in trouble with the league for tampering because they needed to get an advantage at signing Kirk Cousins.
My point is, however Detroit feels about Jared Goff is about how Miami should feel about Tua. Both of them very highly regarded. You saw both of them do some failing, or what felt like failing, and you also saw one of them get to 2 Super Bowls. And he's got the $53.1 million, and the stat I just gave you on all that, a combined 16-17 record between all those $50 million deals. That's not actually winning anything.
Because it's losing to the top guy.
Right. Mahomes is doing all the winning.
Yeah.
That's at least part of it because they've got their top guy pretty cheap because they got him early and because the smartest of these guys know to allow for some savings in some corners so that you can do the winning because that game really hurts when you're losing. Like it hurts a little extra when there are losses involved with everything. I wanted to get to what Jerry Jones said, Stugotz, because tell me why this means anything. I've been making fun for a while about the fact that Jerry Jones is winning the business of sports because the Cowboys stink, but they're always relevant. They never win anything. They haven't won in 30 years, but they're the most valuable franchise, and he's the biggest businessman in the sport because he knows how to keep them relevant because he knows it's the circus, and he knows to say things like this that don't mean anything. Quote, I'm all in. I'm all in.
What more do you want from the man?
What else can you ask? I mean,
they asked him. They asked him about Jordan Love's contract and do they think Dak is better than Jordan Love? And he took you all the way around the mountain when she comes, and he did not give an answer. It's easy to say yes, my quarterback is better than everybody else. He won't do it though.
Yeah. He's all in. I mean.
It doesn't mean anything. Those words mean nothing in a salary cap sport, right? They're all in. That would mean something if you were actually competing over the dollars. If there weren't limits and he had to actually fight these people. God, that'd be so great. Do you know how much more interesting? We obsess over the $50 million these quarterbacks get. Do you know how much more interesting all of this would be if Jerry Jones had to be fighting the next richest owner for a quarterback they both want?
I don't know. I love soccer. I love club soccer. But before the year, outside of like some crazy historical outliers like with Leicester and whatnot, you got like 7 teams, 2 of which are actually competing for the title. It's not all that entertaining from a like who's going to win a championship standpoint.
You think Jerry Jones would be winning everything if he was just getting all the players that he wanted?
Well, not necessarily in football. In American football, that's also tricky because you have injuries there. But I would like to see a day. I don't think the salary cap's a bad thing in American sports. I like the parity. I like that you enter seasons, and across all major sports, you have fans saying this could be our year if a couple things break our way. Mm-hmm. But I would like to see something collectively bargained where you agree, maybe the quarterback position, maybe some, like you got 5, like MLS does this. You have designated players. You can pay them anything. You have to be judicious, and then you can have a real talk. Well, do we burn up a designated player spot on Tua? Because that means now we only have 2 of them left.
Doesn't count against the cap, is what you're saying.
Yeah, where you have positions that don't count at all against a cap, and it's a free open market for the very best in their sport. I'd like to see that in American sports outside of MLS.
Did you guys cover on Friday what I believe to be a story that should be getting more play both nationally and internationally that involves Cal Quantrill? Do you know the story that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I saw this on social media.
Okay, but did you guys talk?
Is that Paul Quantrill's son?
It has to be.
It must be.
How many Quantrills can there possibly be in this country that play baseball?
I saw there was a Homer Bush Jr. running around.
Oh, boy. Really?
Wait
Already? Already?
Yes. There was a Homer.
What?
Yes, I saw a Homer Bush Jr. running around. Cal Quantrill. But do you know the story I'm talking about? What the Rockies pitcher said to Reese McGuire of the Red Sox. It is what I believe to be the single greatest insult in trash talking I have ever heard that also happens to be true in sports. Yelled at him in the middle of an argument, "You jacked off in a bleeping parking lot, you dumb bleep."
I think he told him to go do that.
No,
No, he didn't.
No.
Just as a matter of fact.
No, you've done that.
I wiki searched you before this.
Yes.
Before this.
No, not go do that. That would also be a good thing to insult him with. But go do that because I know you have done it.
Yeah, like go do it again.
Go do it because we all know this about you. How much better does it get than that at the height of rage in terms of being able to hit somebody over the head with an incident from their past?
It's like a bit of a checkmate because what's your rebuttal?
A bit?
What's your rebuttal? Like, get some new material. Oh, everybody tells me that. Oh, no.
You gotta be like, touche.
You got me. You did. I did do that. It's a horrible shame for me, and everyone knows it.
I think Juju's right, by the way. I'm seeing a picture of here. I see go come out of his mouth first. Like, go jerk off in a parking lot.
Either way, we understand the sentiment.
Yeah, we get it.
We don't really need to parse it.
Yeah.
Like, the sentiment, it's the same. Mm-hmm. Wow. Paul Quantrill's son.
Amazing. Homer Bush.
We're so old, dude. It does warm the cockles a little bit when you see Trinity Rodman out there, but then you're reminded that they don't have a good relationship and quote, don't see eye to eye on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising. One of my famous favorite Dennis Rodman facts is that his own father had, I believe it was 21 children, and his name was actually Philander. That's not usually something that you get.
Back full circle, we just left this. Jerry Jones, it's a perfect example of keeping it real goes wrong. If you would have paid Dak Prescott 2 years ago when you're supposed to pay Dak Prescott, he would have been in the category of Daniel Jones and them. Now you're going to have to pay that man more money. Salute to you, big bro.
If he wants to stay.
Let me ask you guys this question as it relates to Pat Riley here locally, because for some reason in the changes throughout sports where we know all the money everybody makes and all of us feel like fantasy GMs and we all feel like we could be better architects than the people doing the architecting. I understand anybody who looks at what's happened to the Miami Heat over the last 2 years and criticizes Pat Riley for falling behind because it's a results business. But I saw that Tyus Jones signed for the minimum, and a lot of people were saying, as they do, again, because the Heat have Thomas Bryant, a fourth-string center, and the Heat aren't getting better, that Pat Riley is washed and he should go away. And my question to you locally is, how do you imagine that happening if I keep telling you guys that 5 people run this organization and Riley reports to Nick Arison? That if you get rid of Riley, you're doing what? Bringing someone in over Spoelstra when Spoelstra's been given the job and the power he's been given, and not to go to Portland where he could have had an ownership stake because they're promising him that he can be a part of all the decision making in the future. When you're running Pat Riley out, are you replacing him with someone else, or are you just making Spoelstra the one who's over Riley, even though I keep telling you guys at every turn there are 5 people who make all the decisions in that organization, and Riley gets all the credit for it because Riley's still the figurehead that works for everybody in the organization as mythological leader of the thing?
I've never met someone that isn't juicing it up and being performative that wants to show Pat Riley the door. That is an actual Heat fan. I think everyone understands what he's bought for himself with this franchise, made them relevant, made them matter, brought them their greatest success, is still recently pretty successful. I think everyone just wants him to, come on, figure it out. Be more aggressive.
Get one more.
Come on.
Right.
You're getting old. We're all growing impatient. Do something. I want it to be you that does it. I don't want to work myself up. I will never get to that point, by the way. It just is what it is. Right. There are very few people that get to that point in sports where you understand they get to do whatever they want for however long that they want. And it's not like they're terrible. They're just not winning a championship.
But, Mike, that's not a deal anyone has. Belichick just got run out on a rail. That's not a deal that works in sports.
And no one has done more winning than Belichick.
You can say that we're better people down here, I guess.
No, I understand fans running him out, Mike. I do.
They aren't, to Mike's point.
They're not.
You don't hear people.
It's not a real thing. That's egg Avi logic.
No.
These are not real people.
There are fans that are upset with the Heat and Riley and his inability to land some of the big free agents.
Yeah, you're looking at him.
I know.
I don't want to push him out.
But they have that perspective. They can say it all. They can say both things. They can say, get a superstar, and also you're Pat Riley, and you can kind of do what you want.
I think they're being respectful. I don't believe the fans who are saying, hey, I have perspective. He can stay as long as he wants. You're being respectful to Pat. You want to win. You want to win now. It's okay. Push Pat out. Yeah, if you feel like the game is passed him by, then say the game is passed him by. I'm not saying these things. I don't care enough about the team. I'm not pushing him. I ain't pushing him.
Tony, you push him.
I mean,
I will not do that.
Tony, push him out.
And I would say, if you're arguing that it's 5 people that make the decision, it's not one solo person, then that's a totally different scenario than what was happening in New England, where you had Kraft and you had Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick wanted all the power. He wanted so much power that when he hit an open market, nobody wanted him. I wonder if that would be the case with Pat Riley, but it's a totally different situation.
I just don't think that the people listening to this understand that Pat Riley reports to Nick Arison. I don't think that that's something that anybody listening to this understands or considers for a moment. This is the Arisons franchise. They hide purposefully and powerfully in the shadows running the franchise, and I've seen them say no to Pat Riley on things. He reports
usually when it's a luxury tax. But I can't push out the owners.
Right.
Well, but that's isn't that?
Gotta push that's my point.
I got my issues.
Right.
But they weren't T-shirts at the last playoff.
Yeah.
I wanted white hot T-shirts. I got a rally towel. Yep. I know where we're cutting corners. I saw what happened during the pandemic in the cruise line industry.
Isn't that why they lost Tyus Jones, because of the second apron stuff? That you guys, the part that I don't get is you obsess over the $53 million on Tua. And then when it comes to the second apron stuff, you don't actually understand what's happening there.
I do. Who are you talking about? Yes, I care about it. I don't give a flying F about the apron. I want the billionaire owner to spend the money to be competitive and do what other owners are doing. Over here, they have done so well that fans, in a twisted way, because it's spoon-fed from media that they like, hey, we got under the tax apron. Like, that's a banner that we should be raising. But, like, you have Heat fans that celebrate it. Wow, we're so good, we got under that apron.
My point My point isn't that you should care about whether they get under the tax apron. My point is that earlier in the show, you were telling me that you care about Tua's contract because it has to do with whether or not the team can stay under the salary cap.
Right, but it's a different sport. There's money to go around. You can go in the NBA into luxury tax town to improve your team. The Miami Heat say that they're willing to go there, but often their moves suggest, what was the real motivation here? Is it getting better? Is it getting better sometimes while also getting under the apron, which is something that, to their credit, they've been able to do? Or is it just cost cutting? And I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not pushing Pat Riley.
A sports fan never is a huge fan of where does the business save money, but you are when it comes to the salary cap in football on where it is that you can save money. Because it affects your enjoyment of it. You're counting the dollars in the bank of Tua because you're doing all sorts of math that I've always hated having around sports.
I think no one cares about the specifics of it. I just want to know my team is doing this game on par with the good teams. It's like, okay, this team is spending this much on their quarterback. Let's not be the team that takes their quarterback that's in the middle kind of and over. Like, you just want to, I don't care. I think you're overstating that fans are like, oh, it's 54. It should have been 52. No, it's just, I want to know what quarterbacks get more, what get less, and just make sure that my guys slotted in the right area.
I think you guys are burying the lead. The Miami Heat are your Summer League NBA champions.
Damn right
now. So I think we should just do more celebrating of that.
During the 24 hours of grace.
Sweater whip.
We allow them it has been a summer of banners down here in South Florida. Right. Look, everybody was making fun of them last year for falling short and not, you lost in 2 finals, you didn't win anything. Well, the Panthers won the cup and the Heat won a championship over the summer. Boom. They shut a lot of people up.
We did not talk at all about the Summer League Championship.
Why would we?
And we are not going to talk.
Were they talking about it in Africa?
When's the parade? Rough summer for parades, by the way. They're all getting rained on. Panthers, Olympics.
That Celtics.
Thanksgiving better look out.
Celtics one did not get rained on. There were 1 million people there.
Well, they outsourced it to Miami half the time.
What else did you guys like about the opening weekend of the Olympics? Because I was talking about us and some of the things that we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks to cover the Olympics. And I don't believe we've ever covered the Olympics before, not in any kind of organized way, not caring about, we're always waiting, what's the storyline of the day that's going to make an appearance that we can talk about and chew on from pop culture. But I don't remember in our entire 20-year history of a show us ever planning or thinking about what we were going to talk about regarding the Olympics.
Yeah, and I think we've done a decent job in chewing as to why that is. And we did have one in London not too long ago, but I guess we were in different places, and the Miami Heat certainly were in a different place, and the offseason was a bigger deal there, and that would carry us a little bit more. But I think a lot of it has to do with it's all super accessible. It's in a time zone that we can all follow. If I want to watch handball, I can watch handball, and I can do it. And it's always great when we have sports on here. We're more invested because we are working a job where we can watch it. A spill here in the men's gold medal final in skateboarding.
Right.
You're not going to be able to recover from that one, son.
Yeah, because we care about that now. Right.
Also, I'm like a dog with a bone on women's water polo. It is going down. Salute to Flavor Flav, Don Staley. Salute to my girls, too. Giovanna Sokolic, Tara Prentice, Maddie Musselman, and Maggie Steffens, man. Come on, dog. We just caught an L against Spain. Now, the Spain, they got that look in their eyes. And they got a great goalie.
It's also like a very married experience.
Right?
Sitting down on the couch, as Stugotz mentioned it, like, my wife gets into the Olympics in ways that are pretty profound and that I'm really enjoying. She's more into it than I am, so much so that we're watching all the shoulder programming. Uninterrupted as a docuseries on U.S. women's gymnastics as they ramp ramped up for this Olympics is quite good.
That's
and
what
lets
it's
me to get
always
invested.
been, Mike. It's the Olympics. This is what I was telling you about
Since
last
Karch
week.
Karai. I mean, yeah.
Since before that, Stugotz. Karch Karai is not the original Olympic athlete on broadcast television. It is. It's a family event. It's always been. I'm surprised that you just realized it after 4 days again.
Took me having a family.
Popeyes has the wings you crave as a meal, a snack, or at your next party for just $5.99 for a 6-piece. Crunchy, spicy bone-in wings or tender, white meat boneless wings are seasoned to perfection in Louisiana herbs and spices, and then tossed in so many different amazing flavors that you can't tell if one is better than the last. Pick your wing, choose your sauce, and savor all the flavor possibilities. It's the best of both wings, and they're just $5.99 for a 6-piece. At participating U.S. restaurants.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team, faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for new jobs but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other job-leading sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/PREP to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.